2007 there was going to be another general election. So in the general election now, these people who had been defeated and they had been given the orange, so they came with the Orange Movement now, Orange Movement of Kenya, or Orange Democratic Party of Kenya, whatever it was. Then kina Kalonzo, kina Raila, they came up. This is the 2007. They came up with orange, but somewhere between, before the election, before the general election, I think Kalonzo was mishandled. Kalonzo was mishandled, and Kalonzo supporters disagreed with the people who were mishandling him. These were the Raila group, and then they since they were holding the certificate, and Mwanzo was holding the certificate, so he gave the certificate to Kalonzo, and then the Orange were told to do theirs. Then there was a lawyer, Mugambi, I think it was a Mugambi, there was a Mugambi lawyer or another lawyer who had a party. I think he donated it to Gitobu Imanyara. It was a Mugambi Imanyara or something. So he gave it to Gitobu Imanyara. Gitobu Imanyara then approached, I think approached Tinga, and then they formed the Orange. So there were two oranges. There was the Orange, I think Orange Democratic Party of Kenya. This was the one that Kalonzo had retained, and then there was the Orange of Raila, and then there was the DP. I think I don't understand what happened there, but DP was not finished. There was also still DP was there. So 2007 election comes, Kibaki wins, but there is an argument that Kibaki did not win. Raila is the one who won. So there was a big fight. And then you remember in 2008 what we call the mediation. Mediation. There was a big disagreement between the parties. The Nani party, what is his name? The Nani party, what is his name? The Kibaki party and the Raila party. There was a big fight. Kibaki had come under PNU. Now he had come under PNU, I think, PNU. Yeah, PNU and Raila. And then Kalonzo was in orange. Kalonzo, I think the Kalonzo orange became Wiper. So Kalonzo came with Wiper. Kalonzo's orange was changed into Wiper because when Kina Raila also got another party orange, so there was a confusion of the oranges. So I think Kalonzo came up with the Wiper and Mutula Kilonzo and people like Johnson Muthama. They came with the Wiper party. I think Mutula Kilonzo was a lead person in coming up with the Wiper slogan and the Wiper party. So Wiper became very popular in Ukambani and other areas like northwestern Kenya, some parts of Mombasa, and some parts of also central Kenya. But then there was the Kibaki party, PNU. PNU was also very powerful. So PNU was very powerful. There was some people in the South Rift also went with Wiper or PNU. And then Raila took Western and Nyanza. Raila took that with Orange, ODM. ODM became very formidable. And it said that ODM won. But when you look at the results, the Kivuitu Electoral Commission, said the man in charge of the Electoral Commission said he didn't know who won. Because that is when we came, you remember, the Rakanivi saga. Because Raila had been winning all night when people were going to sleep, Raila was winning. But in the morning, then it came that there are some votes which have come from the Rakanivi, and Raila has been trounced by Kibaki. And there was a lot of argument with the mother Karua fighting for Kibaki, and kina Orengo fighting for Raila, and Kalonzo alikuwa amesema atapita katikati, so akapita katikati, he was made the vice president. So Kalonzo becomes vice president. 2008. Kalonzo becomes vice president. Yeah, Kalonzo becomes vice president, Kibaki becomes president, but the Orange Democratic Movement or party, whatever it is, Orange, wow, oh no, they refused. There was a big fight, people died, Uko Rift Valley, oh, kina Ruto. Ruto was very, 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 very mad. Ruto was very, very mad. Ruto was in Baba's party. That's why you hear him telling Sifuna the other day that he's a founder member of ODM. I think it's true, because he was in there very, very, very vocal. He really fought for ODM. And then it was so serious, the international community got involved. The international community got involved. People like Mkapa from Tanzania. There was this lady, Mrs. Machel, came in. There was this Kofi Annan became the mediator. Kofi Annan became the mediator. So there was mediation. So that's how the NUSU MKATE business came in. That's how the prime minister position was created. So Raila was given that to appease him, and he went there with Akina Miguna. Miguna was very, very, very strong. So he became part of Raila's team at the PM's office. So now we had like two centers of power. There is the presidency and the PM. And we continued that way because nothing could happen. But then you remember now there is the Ocampo 6. Ocampo. Now there is a problem. People have died. Who has created this? The man in charge of civil service, Mudaura, the man in charge of police, Asanali, the man in charge of, I don't know, there is another person, the man in charge of this Kalenjin radio. I can't remember his name, but he was a short fellow. He was also involved. Ruto was named. He's a Waki is the one who came with the names. And then they gave it to Ocampo. Ocampo was a prosecutor. So the Hague business came, ICC, International Court, the International Criminal Court. So now, you know, there was a crime against humanity. It was declared that there was a lot of crime against humanity because over 1,000 people died. Over 1,000 people died. There was a big disagreement between the government and the Orange Party. So there was a big disagreement. There was a lot of fighting. People died in Nakuru. People died in Rift Valley. People died in Nyanza. People died in Molo. People died. A lot of people died. And then there is what we call the internal displaced people, the IPDs. The IPDs came up. And this has continued to date. I don't think all the IDPs have been located back. We still have that problem. So I'm going back to my land issue. Land, you know, see, IDPD. Why were these people fighting? Now it became not a political thing, but a land thing. So all the people who were not Kalenjins and had occupied land in Rift Valley were being kicked out of their shambas, out of their land, and they had title deeds. How did you get here? Who gave you this land? This is our land. Community land. People started fighting. That's why we say they are internally displaced people, because they had been kicked out of the Rift Valley. And these are people who had been allocated that land through the schemes of government. Avesta Jackson Angaine. You remember Jackson Angaine, the Minister for Lands? These people had been allocated land in Molo, Rift Valley, and also we call Ban Forest, to go Eldoret. And all that, those people were kicked out. They were kicked out. Somebody you've gone to school from standard 1 and akuruka dakika ya mwisho. It was very serious.